Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to session 4 of your opulent self. Hello, it's so exciting to be here. Who has done their self-image script? Let me know in the comments below. What a week it has been. What a week it has been. I cannot believe it is Thursday already. My God, session 4. It's amazing how quickly time goes by when you are doing your opulent self. And I am loving this group because we consistently get feedback from you all, and particularly this group, sending us feedback and messages, and telling us what you've got out of each day, which has been so fantastic to be a part of. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for committing to you. Thank you so much for doing the work. There's nothing that excites me more and that wants me to give you even more than seeing you really commit to yourself. And I'm loving the changes that you are noticing in yourself already and everything that you've shared. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for sending me your self-image scripts too. Not everyone has, actually. I received a few, and if you haven't, I wonder if the reason is because you haven't done it. As I said from day one, if you want to get 100% out of this program, okay, I know you have, Birgit. I received yours this morning. Thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to reading it. Thank you. But as I said, from day one, if you want to get a lot out of this, don't treat this just like, another course. Don't treat this just like, oh, come on and enjoy the energy and listen to the information. Because if you do, that's all you're going to get out of it. It's really important what you do in between each session. And Birgit said, and I hope you don't mind me sharing, Birgit, but she's one of the people that has sent me her self-image script. And I spoke to her a couple of days ago, and the shift in Birgit has been amazing, has been extraordinary. So this is what you get when you put into your life. You see, the universe, one thing that I learned, so in my 20s, I absolutely loved that book, The Alchemist from Paulo Coelho. Who knows The Alchemist? It's a great book. And I would read it at least once a year just to get that inspiration. And I was always a big dreamer. I always knew my purpose. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story in a few minutes. But one of the quotes that really stood out to me from that book was the universe conspires to help the person that has a dream. Now, in my quest of achieving my dream, and I've achieved my dream, I'm living my dream now, I learned that was actually not the case. That's not the whole picture. The universe does not conspire to help the person with the dream. The universe conspires to help the person that has made the decision and has the audacity to move towards their dream. So if you really want to have an opulent life, if you really want to create a new opulent you, and remember, the definition of opulence to me is not just money. Money is wonderful. I love money. Money loves me. I love having it. I enjoy sharing it with other people. I enjoy what it brings to me in my life. Absolutely love it. But to me, it's not just about the money. It's about everything. It's about me living my purpose every single day. It's about my relationships, my health. Okay. And in all of that is your wealth. So if you're showing up just to feel good, that's fantastic, but you're not going to get the results that you want. And also today's session is going to be an uncomfortable session for some of you. And I don't apologize about that, okay? Because it's going to separate those of you that are absolutely serious and are going to change their life and are going to create the opulent life that they deserve, to those that have just treated this like a course and don't get much changes. For those of you who have not had your one-on-one session, I would check your messenger request inbox. I think somebody was asking who their success advisor was yesterday. So if you haven't connected to someone in my team, to Joe, to Natalia, to myself, to someone from the Your Two Minds team, and you haven't had your one-on-one session, you are doing yourself a disservice. Let me ask you a question. Why did you sign up? You signed up because something about this program resonated with you. There's something in your life that you really want to change. It might be your whole life. It might be just one area of your life. And that's why you've signed up to do this. But if you're not going to take the time to have that one-on-one session and really fully embrace what we have for you, then, ask yourself, how serious am I? Is this just another information session that I'm going to attend? Or is this something that I'm going to really, really put my 100% in and make a change? So the next 2 sessions are going to be uncomfortable for some of you because, like I said, they're going to separate those people that are serious, that will do what it takes, with those that have just come along to, not do much. And that's okay. Wherever you are, that's okay. Everybody is welcome here. But let me ask you a question. If you continue to live your life that way, what is going to change? Remember, Einstein said the definition of insanity is somebody that does the same thing over and over again, doesn't invest time or money in themselves, and expects change. That's insanity. You will not change just by accumulating information. Your paradigms are too strong. And you know that already. You only change by getting uncomfortable, by investing in yourself, investing time and money in yourself. Nothing is for free. And if you expect to get, quantum leaps for free without putting time or money into something, then you're kidding yourself. I'll tell you that now. You may as well just accept that you're kidding yourself. So I'm going to ask you 2 questions, okay? 1, on the scale. So session 2, there's a scale in your workbook, okay, that asks you, how serious are you about creating your opulent life? And on a scale, it gives you a scale from 0, where it's not important at all, okay? Doesn't mean you don't care, you just want to stay as you are, to 10, where you're as serious as it's so important, it's just important to you as your family is, okay? So I want you to let me know in the comments, how serious are you on that scale from 0 to 10? And I also want you to let me know if you have decided that this is it for you. You will do what it takes. So give me a number and a yes, okay? If you haven't decided, if you're not serious, that's absolutely fine. We do not judge you. We love having you here, okay? But I have to tell you straight up as to what it takes to have success. Okay, I have to tell you straight up what it takes to have an opulent life. Because if I don't, and if you're not, and if you're always comfortable when you're around me, then I'm not doing my job. So I can see, I know Angie's a 12, that's for sure. So I'm seriously serious. I'm a serious 12. Yes, 10. Oh, it's 11:11, is it, in Queensland? Wow, and I'm an 11. I love Jo so much. She is the most passionate, dedicated person, and she absolutely gives her heart and her mind and everything to the community, the Your Two Minds community. Birgit is an 11. I noticed that with you the other day. You're definitely an 11, and Liz is a 10. Good. We have some really serious people. I love working with serious people because they're the ones that have a purpose. They're the ones that are like, right, that's it. They have the audacity. They have the guts to say, enough is enough. I'm going to do this. So I'm going to start this session. So we went through, I took you on a bit of a journey, okay? We started with creating, because we are the highest form of creation. You are the highest form of creation. We started off with creating a new definition of opulence. We moved into understanding and opening up to the truth of who you are. And the truth of who you are is that you are absolutely infinite. You have infinite potential. Without you, the whole universe would be out of alignment. But then we also looked at our mind, and our mind has paradigms, subconscious paradigms. And even though we know that we are infinite and we have all this potential, it is our paradigms, our subconscious paradigms, that get in the way. That is the reason why we continue to self-sabotage. And then we moved into one of my favorite sessions, and that's self-image. The truth of you is so much bigger, so much more beautiful than what you've ever imagined. And to me, recreating your self-image is really connecting to that truth, connecting to who you truly are. So I gave you a bit of homework yesterday. Thank you to all of you who sent me your self-image scripts. I look forward to working with you. Now, today and tomorrow's session is not comfortable, okay? And because we talk about the D word. What's the D word? Who can guess what the D word is? Most of you know. But before I start, I'm going to share a little story about me. So I shared with you yesterday and the day before. Well, yesterday it was that it has been exactly 5 years that I left a senior job, full-time employment. And started my own business. Exactly 5 years. So I'm going to share a little bit about myself because I want you to be inspired by my story. So most of you haven't known me for a long time. I know my incredible, that's absolutely right, Birgit, decision, the D word. I know I've known my clients for a couple of years, some just under a year, and some of you I've only just met in the past week. So you have not known me for a long time. But one of the things with me now, each of us has a gift, including you. And I strongly believe my gift I was born to do what I'm doing now, because my earliest childhood memory, I would dream about having an international company, a leader in the world. I'd be a leader in the world, helping you achieve your full potential. And it's interesting, I was one of those kids, there weren't many of us, they're quite rare in my day and age anyway, where even though I was a young child, as my earliest memory, I just attracted people. I attracted babies, children, adults, seniors. They were just attracted to me because they felt that I had something. And just being around me, they just felt at ease. And the thing that I did have was that I was able to connect to people's souls and able to understand, I don't know how, what their blocks are. So I would, as my earliest childhood memories was that when I grow up, I will have my own international company. I'm going to be an international leader and author. I always dreamt of being an author. I used to create books, and I wanted my books out there. So what I did was the next best thing, like many of you, childhood was harsh. Being from a newly arrived migrant family, there were many, many challenges. So it wasn't like life was easy. But the next natural step for me was and my father, who was absolutely incredible, he's still with us and is still incredible. But as a child, female child that's a migrant, he really taught me to dream as a child, because he used to imagine and want me to be a doctor. I never, ever wanted to be a doctor, but that really taught me to dream. So he'd be always, sharing his vision of my success in future. So that those dreams, and some of you might relate to me, having that dream and that information and that imagination of, what I'm going to be when I grow up, which was going to be an international leader in this field, really helped me get through some hard times in childhood. Being severely bullied for many, many years, it really helped me get through those times. And naturally, what I thought was, my destiny was to study psychology and counseling, and that would bring me to being a leader in this field, giving my gift. And naturally, I got into senior management and, did quite well as a single young woman, did very well, and had a great career. But for years and years and years, it was that pull inside me, always pulling me, write that book, start doing your dream, start doing your coaching. But there was always my head that got in the way. That head of yours, those little messages. Oh, well, who are you? You don't have enough experience. So the years went by and I'd read every self-help book that was out there. But what happened was nothing happened. Like, I'd read it, I'd accumulate the knowledge like many of you are doing now, okay? And then and I'd feel good, and I'd even share the book with friends saying, you've got to read this. But 2 weeks down the track, there wasn't a drastic change. And I yearned for that quantum leap. I yearned to change my life. I yearned to have that dream come true. And I used to drive to work for years, and during that period of the drive, rather than focus on the traffic and get stressed, I would listen to leaders that I admired. And one of the leaders that I absolutely loved and admired was Bob Proctor. So most of you know who Bob Proctor is. He is an 87. He's going to be 87 this year, 87-year-old man. And, he's basically our most famous teacher in human potential alive today. And I used to listen to him. And as I was driving to work, intuition told me that I would be sharing the stage with Bob Proctor and that him and I would be friends. Now think about this, okay? That was a few years ago. And Bob did not know me. But just think about this. There's millions of people that want to meet Bob just to meet him, okay? I was in Australia. My city, Melbourne, has 5 million people in there. My country has 26 million people. He was all the way in Toronto, who has, I think, 6 million people in the city. I'm not sure, 30 million people in Canada, and then billions of people around the world. But I had the audacity to keep that childhood knowing, that soul knowing alive. And what I didn't know is I had made a decision then that one day that this would happen, because I did not share it with anybody, because, Angie, Birgit, Liz, I was afraid if I shared it with somebody. Sometimes you share things with friends and they don't say anything, or they'll say, oh, that's great, but the energy wasn't good. They don't really believe you. They're thinking, oh, who are you to think that? So I was afraid of giving it any negative energy. And for years and years, even though I was earning a 6-figure income, car, package, I had a great career. I could have gone up. The CEO was incredible. He absolutely loved me and my work. It just was not quite right. Not that the organization was bad, but it was that yearning, that childhood yearning, that purpose inside me that was there since as far as I can remember. And it was telling me, you've got to quit. You've got to quit. You've got to quit and do this. But my paradigms were getting in the way. So back in 2017, I was $500,000 in debt. Now, it was good debt, okay? There were 2 mortgages that I have, 2 places, and that it was combined debt for the 2. However, it was debt. And ever since I turned 18, I always had a job. And when I finished university, I went into full-time employment. And naturally, every second week there was money coming in, a check coming in from the organization that I had worked for. There was a stint of about a month, 6 weeks when I was 32, because I had worked in Japan. I came back. That was the only time that I never worked, that I didn't work until I found employment again. So this is my story, and intuition really kicked in, and it got to the point, but I was scared. For years I was so scared, because what if I jumped? What if I jumped and I lost both of my homes? What if I jumped and I failed and people laughed at me? What if, I went for it and it all fell apart because I had no business experience. I knew what my purpose was. I knew what my gift was. I remember I just had a vision of me as a child in the lounge room, just playing what I'm doing now. But I've never done it before. I'd always relied on a check. And having a 6-figure package salary come to me when I was $500,000 in debt, isn't it crazy just to stop? So all of these messages kept coming, what are you doing? But in here, I knew that I had to jump. So 31st of January 2017, I cut the cord. That was my last day of full-time employment. I made a decision at a time where it was really difficult to make a decision. I did not know what I was doing. I just knew that I had to work it out. And then shortly after that, because my paradigms kicked in, can you imagine? I didn't even have a Susanna. I didn't have a coach. I had to work it out myself based on what I knew. And then shortly after that, I did something similar to you all. I invested a little bit of money to do a weekend, a seminar, and I knew in my heart that I needed to get help. I needed to change my paradigms. But what that meant was I had to invest $30,000 in myself. Now, can you imagine this? I have left work. I have always worked in my life, always in full-time employment, apart from that short stint after I came back from Japan. Always had a paycheck in. I was always highly, highly regarded in my field. CEO did not want to let me leave. This is an organization, I think, of 3,000 employees. He pulled me in his office saying, what job do you want? We'll create it. Okay. But I had left and had no income come in, nothing. I could have gone on government payments. I chose not to do that. It's not that I thought it was wrong, but it was wrong for me at that time because the energy was not right. So there was not even a cent coming in, and I had $500,000. And at that point, so a few months down the track where I still wasn't working it out, thought, right, my intuition said, I've got to work with this person. I've got to invest in myself. And at the time where there was no income coming in, $500,000 in debt, okay, I remember Bob Proctor saying, winners make decisions quickly and change them slowly. Losers make decisions slowly and change them quickly. I could not afford to lose. I wanted to be a winner. The other thing he said is, if you do not invest in yourself, time and money, you do not deserve to win. So all I could hear in my mind is Bob Proctor, even though he didn't know me at that time. And I had to find at a time when not 1 cent was coming in, $500,000 in debt. I had to find another $30,000 to jump on board to get just that help that I needed from the best, because you always want to invest in yourself and invest the money with someone that knows what they're doing. So I jumped. I found that money. I paid. I knew it was the right decision. I jumped and did it. And then a week after, what happened to me was I was in complete terror. You know that feeling when you are so afraid that you are absolutely paralyzed. You don't know what to do. You don't know where to turn. You wish that the ground would just open you up and swallow you. That's where I was. So fast forward 5 years, and here we are, my friends. You are from all over the world. We have Birgit from Germany. We have Australians. We have people from the UK, Angie from the US. My program, my clients, every single continent in the world. That childhood dream was finally realized. See my book in the background? 2 editions of that book, same book, that's the second edition, both went in as bestsellers. That became a bestseller within hours. Joe remembers that day. It wasn't even 24 hours, and it was number 1 in the Amazon bestsellers list, just like that. And right next to my book was right next to Wayne Dyer's new book. I don't know how a dead person can release a book, but he did. And Jay Shetty. Can you imagine that? So that child in me knew. She knew her purpose. She knew what she was here to do. But you see, it took the adult version of her, which is who you see now, 40 odd years to make the decision to really go for it. And that was a real decision. $500,000 in debt. But I'm going to do this anyway, because there's only one life. And my life is telling me that this is what I need to do. This is what I want. This is my opulent life. You see, every single time I share that story, I get chills. I get chills because I was hanging on a shoestring. Now, I never have a shoestring, okay? $500,000 in debt. You've just left work. There's no money coming in. And now you're going to spend another $30,000. I could have, see how thin, even thinner than this is. I could have just as easily not followed my intuition. And I could have said, no, it's not the right time. I don't have enough money. And you know what? I just get chills thinking that that's how easy it could have been for me to say no. Had I said no, you and I would not be here now. Had I said no, I not only would have published 2 books, bestsellers, the third one's on the way, by the way. In the next month, I believe we will release it. Not only would I have not had the international success that I have, but back in 2019, I shared the stage with my mentor, who has now become my friend, Bob Proctor. And he has publicly said Susanna is the best person, one of the best people in the world doing this work. You will not find better than her. I can send Bob an email or a phone message or call him and he will respond. Yet only 6-7 years ago, I was driving to work thinking where he did not even know that I existed. But in my heart, I dared to dream. In my heart, I knew that I would not only be sharing the stages with him, that he would become a dear friend. So every single one of you has signed up to do this course for a reason. You only know that reason. You only know that reason. You might have a purpose, just like what I did as a child, that you have been afraid to go and move towards. Or you might want to just change your life. Everybody's reason is different. But let me tell you something from somebody that has experienced it. And I keep experiencing more and more quantum leaps. Let me tell you one thing from somebody that has walked the path. If I can do this, you can too. Whatever it is for you. What's the thing that if you told your friends, they would laugh at? See, if I told my friends I'm going to be working with Bob Proctor, they would laugh at that. What's that thing for you? What is the thing that you want, that you deserve to have, that some people might think is crazy? You know, if I told my boss that I had no income coming in and I was $500,000 in debt, no one knew that, they would think that I'm absolutely crazy. Now, I'm not telling you to do that. I'm not telling you to jump off the cliff like I did. But what I'm asking you is to align with that thing and know that you can do it. And what I'm saying is it will not be done, though, until you make a decision. So, have you made a decision to do this? Have you made a decision to change your life? Because a decision is not somebody that wants it now and goes back to work when the going gets tough. I could have easily gone back to work that year. I was struggling. But I had made a decision to share my gift with people around the world. And going back to full-time employment was not an option at that time. That's what you call a real decision. Winners make decisions quickly and they change them very, very slowly, if at all. Losers make decisions slowly and they change them very quickly and often. Where do you want to be? I did not want to lose. I could not afford to lose. So the decision is yours. So a true decision means that it is done. There is no turning back. You will do what it takes. You will invest the time and the money in yourself to get the return that you want in your life. Full stop. You see, I can inspire you and I know the steps. I know how to have a quantum leap because I have had many. I have had many in such a short time. By the end of 2017, the first edition of my book was written. It was completed in Ottawa, Canada, the manuscript, and I came home in Melbourne, and when my feet touched the ground, when I came off that plane, I was an author. The dream of that child had finally been realized. What decision are you making about yourself and your life? Because you can decide not to do anything with this information. It's up to you. I'm just an example of what I can help you do in your life because I've done it in my life. Your life is different. We are all different. Okay, you've got different dreams, different things that you would like to achieve. Okay, but I know the steps how to get there. So a true decision means it is done. It is done. There's no turning back. Have you made a true decision? What have your decision-making skills been like in the past? You see, we're not taught how to make decisions. And Therefore, we ask the opinions of others to help us decide what is right for us. So, what would happen if I asked my boss or my friend or my parents back in 2017, what would happen if I asked them to make a decision for me? They'd all say, "You're friggin' crazy, woman. Pay the debt off, get some savings, and then go for your dream." Right? But I chose not to listen to them. I chose to listen to myself and to people that have done it. I have done it. Bob Proctor has done it. You have got a combined experience of over 90 years. Not only have I had quantum leap over quantum leap, behind me is 25 years of psychology studies, of senior management in the helping professions. So you've got a combination of 90 years experience. What decision are you going to make? In your workbooks, you have a very, very special offer there where I give you an additional 6 months of coaching absolutely free for the price of just 6 months. So you can stay with me for a whole year for the price of 6 months. You will not get anybody with this caliber of experience, with someone like Bob Proctor saying Susanna is one of the top people in the world in this field. You will not get that price and get a whole year of coaching from somebody with that caliber. So this is going to define whether you are serious about changing your future or not. And if you decide not to, that's completely okay. That's absolutely completely okay. Some people don't want to change, and that's okay. But those of you where this resonates, those of you that have a big dream, those of you that are tired of living the way that you've been living, this is your opportunity to break free. And a person with a real decision finds a way. I didn't have the money. I found the way. And then I had to invest another 20,000 to get my book going, the first edition. That's an expensive way of doing it. I know. But I did it anyway, and I learned from that during a year where I was not working. That's what you call audacity. That's what you call a real decision. That's when the universe comes in and helps you. Because look at me now. I have incredible people that I've never known before. Olivia's here, Joe, Birgit, Angie, from all over the world. The universe will come to you, but you have to have the audacity to say, yes, this is for me. Let me ask you a question. If you think you are not ready for this, how have your results been in the past? And why do you think that you're going to change this time if you're not ready to do something differently, if you're not ready to jump? You see, back in 2017, I could have stayed in the safety of the plane, but I chose to jump out. And before I knew it, and I felt like I was dropping, and I was dropping so fast. That's how it felt. And it was so uncomfortable. And then before I knew it, the parachute came out. And the exhilaration of the adventure of me going for my dream was beyond anything that I've ever experienced before. The scenery from being at the top in your field is so different than being on the ground. And it's something that will stay with me forever. Nobody could take away the past 5 years. It's mine. Because one person, the person that you're watching right now, with the least resources available, decided to take that one jump. Even though she felt like she was failing, and she felt like she was falling, and she felt at times that her life was going to end. The parachute, the universe always comes in to help the person that has made a decision. I'm going to end. I've gifted you all the Decisions article from Bob Proctor. This is my favorite article. And I want you all to read it and reread it, underline it, highlight it. Take the time to just soak this up, because we haven't learnt how to make decisions. And he starts with, once you make the decision, you will find the money. Every time. I made the decision twice many times that year, but the biggest one was to jump out of this, what I called security of a 6-figure job, $500,000 in debt. The next one was $500,000 in debt, no job, no money, and invest even more in yourself. And then the third jump was to invest in getting that book done, all in a year where there was no income coming in. My business did not take off until late that year. I had my first client because I did not have a Susanna. You have a Susanna. And it just depends on how important your dream is for you. So there is a single mental move you can make, which in a millisecond will solve enormous problems for you. It has the potential to improve almost any personal or business situation you will ever encounter. And it could literally propel you down the path to incredible success. We have a name for this magic mental activity. It's called decision. And decision is really, really the magical mental activity. It really is. So your definition of opulence wants you. That's why you've got it. Nature loves order means that you need to align with your definition of opulence. And it means that your goal needs, your mind needs clarity. But everything we've done up until now, unless you make a decision, nothing will ever happen. I look forward to working with you all. I invite you to come on board. You can come on board. We'll send you the link to register for it's a 6-month, but I'll give you the 6 months additional, absolutely free. You will not get that anywhere else. And just imagine where your life can be in 1 year's time. Where would you be at the end of this year if you made this decision? And what's going to happen if you don't make a decision? What's going to happen if you don't decide to invest the money to find someone that has done it themselves to help you to move to the next level? I look forward to having you on board. If you haven't had your one-on-one session with Joe, please, or Natalia or I, please do, organise that. And I will be back here tomorrow and we're going to go even deeper. Have the most incredible 24 hours. Make sure you read the Decisions article. And honestly, let's make 2022 the best year ever. Thank you so much. Thank you. Stay blessed.